My name's Melissa, and this happened in Savannah, Georgia, about 6 years ago. We'd just come back from a family trip to the Caribbean. It was supposed to be a dream vacation, sun, beaches, local markets, the kind of trip you take once in a lifetime. My husband loved exploring small shops, and one afternoon we found a roadside stand selling handmade carvings and jewelry. The woman behind the table said they were made to protect travelers. We bought 3 things: a wooden mask, a carved idol, and a bracelet made of bone beads. She told us, "Don't separate them." We thought she meant they were a matching set. We were wrong. Back home we hung the mask in the hallway, put the idol on the bookshelf and the bracelet on the mantel. Everything seemed fine for the first few days. Then came the smell. It started faint, like wet dirt after rain. Then it grew stronger, until it smelled like rotting flesh. It would appear suddenly, hang in the air for a few minutes, and vanish just as fast. No source, no pattern. We had the vents cleaned, checked the pipes, even called pest control. Nothing helped. Then our dog, Jasper, started acting strange. He wouldn't go near the living room anymore. He'd just sit at the doorway, growling low, his fur standing up. At night, he'd bark at the wall where the mask hung. The smell was always strongest there. One night, I heard him whimpering downstairs. When I got there, the smell hit so hard, I gagged. Jasper was in the corner, trembling, staring at the mask. The next morning, he was gone. We found him in the backyard. No wounds, no blood, just gone. That's when the growling started. Not from the dog. This was deeper. It came from inside the walls, sometimes from under the floor, sometimes right behind us. You could feel it in your chest before you heard it, a vibration that made the air hum. My husband thought maybe it was the pipes rattling, until the night the bookshelf collapsed. Everything fell except the idol. It landed upright in the middle of the floor, untouched. We decided to pack everything up, all 3 souvenirs, and throw them away. I grabbed the bracelet from the mantel, and when I did, the beads felt warm. Not from sunlight, like body heat. My husband tried to lift the mask off the wall, but it wouldn't budge. The nails holding it were fused into the wood. That's when the lights started flickering. And from somewhere in the house, every room at once, came that same deep growl, rising into a roar that shook the windows. We ran outside and didn't go back until morning. The next day, we called a local priest who'd handled unusual cases before. He came, walked through the house without saying much, then stopped by the wall where the mask hung. He whispered something in another language, made the sign of the cross, and told us to burn everything, all 3 pieces, together. We took them to a fire pit out back that night. When the flames touched the mask, it split down the middle with a sound like a scream. The idol crumbled into ash. The bracelet burst into small sparks, and the smell came back one last time, stronger than ever. Then it was gone. We never had any more problems months after that. A year later, my husband got me a dog for my birthday. We named her Jazzy. We also adopted a stray kitten, Milo. We still have them today. They're safe and happy. I'm very reluctant to buy souvenirs now too. And every time I travel now, I remember what that woman said before we left her shop. Don't separate them. I still don't know if she was warning us or warning whatever was inside them. The baseboard markings. My name's Rachel, and this happened in Akron, Ohio, in 2017. My husband and I had just bought our first home, a two-story fixer-upper on a quiet street. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. The first few weeks were normal. We painted, unpacked, and planned to renovate the basement into a game room. But there was always something off about that house. The air downstairs felt heavier. Not damp, just wrong. Even the dog refused to go near the basement door. The first strange thing happened a week after moving in. Around 2 a.m., we heard a loud bang from downstairs, like a shelf collapsing. When we ran down to check, everything was fine. But the next night, it happened again. If you're enjoying this real nightmare, like and subscribe for more. This time, the light bulb over the stairs flickered, and something, we couldn't see what, growled. Not an animal sound, not a creak. A low, guttural growl that made the walls vibrate. We searched the basement. Nothing. The tools were scattered across the floor, and the air smelled like sulfur and burned dust. I tried to laugh it off, but the dog started barking at the floorboards every night like something was moving underneath us. Then one morning, we found the basement door open, though it had been padlocked from the outside. And scratched into the door frame were 3 deep lines, as if from claws. A few days later, while rearranging boxes downstairs, my husband called me over. He'd found something strange. The cement floor under an old rug looked uneven. We pulled the rug back, and underneath was a pentagram carved directly into the concrete, surrounded by blackened candle wax and small piles of ash. The smell that came up from it was sickly sweet, like burnt hair. We just stared at it in silence. I wanted to call someone, but who do you call for that? We tried to scrub it off, but the lines wouldn't fade. It was burned into the concrete itself. That night, everything in the house changed. Doors slammed on their own. The thermostat dropped from 70 to 52. Around midnight, the sound started again. Growling, this time from inside the vents. The dog whimpered and hid in the bathroom. Then something fell in the kitchen. Every cabinet flew open at once, like a blast of wind had come through. I called my sister, who told us to get out. We stayed at her house that night. But when we came back the next morning, we found something on the living room wall. Drawn in black soot were 5 handprints, small, like a child's, arranged in the same shape as the pentagram downstairs. My husband packed our things. We left that day. 2 weeks later, I went back to meet the realtor. She said a buyer was already interested. I didn't tell her about the basement. When we went down there, the markings were gone, replaced by a fresh layer of paint. But just before leaving, I noticed something faintly bleeding through the concrete again. Red lines beginning to take shape where the pentagram had been. I asked her if anyone else had lived there before. She said yes, a family in the 90s who left after electrical issues, but she wouldn't look me in the eye when she said it. We moved across town, bought a smaller place, no basement this time. Sometimes late at night, I still hear that same hollow thud, like something heavy falling beneath the floor. I tell myself it's nothing, but I never put rugs down anymore, because I don't ever want to find out what might be waiting underneath. The janitor's shift. My name's Leon, and for 10 years I worked as an overnight janitor at a county hospital in Augusta, Georgia. Most nights were quiet. Just me, the hum of the lights, and the echo of my mop on tile floors. The morgue was part of my rounds. I didn't like it, but I got used to it, used to the silence, the cold, and the rows of metal drawers. The new wing was under renovation, so we used the old morgue in the basement. The elevator doors down there creaked, and the air always smelled faintly like antiseptic and rust. My supervisor told me to ignore the noises, said the pipes clanged when the air pressure dropped at night. But what I heard wasn't pipes. It started with tapping. 3 soft knocks from inside one of the drawers. I froze, thinking it was a prank. When I pulled the drawer open, the sheet inside was empty. I pushed it closed, and another one knocked back. I told myself it was metal cooling. But when I turned to leave, every light in the room flickered, and from behind me I heard breathing. I turned around slowly and saw condensation forming on one of the steel doors, as if someone inside was exhaling. I backed toward the exit. That's when I heard the gurney wheels start to move on their own. I grabbed my cart and ran for the elevator. But when the doors opened, the lights cut out completely. Just darkness and the echo of those wheels following me. I used my phone light, pointed it down the hall, and saw a white sheet dragging across the floor, pulled by something I couldn't see. I don't remember running, but I ended up outside in the parking lot, out of breath. The next morning, I told the day crew what happened. The technician laughed and said, "You heard it too, huh?" He told me every janitor before me quit because of that same sound. Tapping from inside the drawers when no one's down there. He said the old records showed a power outage years ago during a flood. The backup system failed and 6 bodies went unrefrigerated for days. When they finally fixed it, they said they could still hear knocking from the drawers. I lasted another week before I quit. The night I left, I turned off my mop light and said goodbye to the room, trying to convince myself it was all imagination. But as I reached the elevator, the intercom above me crackled to life. A faint voice whispered, "Don't forget to clean drawer number 6. I never told anyone this, but the drawers aren't numbered. They're labeled with names. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Real nightmares.